Hey, everybody, we are back here at 2022.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season and a great start to your new year. What were you doing, Paul?
Well, I was at the Paramount Theater in Seattle, Washington, and doing My Fair Lady. We had two shows that day, and kind of battling the snow to get into the city and into the theater. But it was great and completely packed houses. How about you?
Well, I had a good first part of December playing wise. We were doing all kind of shows, a couple of concerts and some corporate events. And then I took off and I went to Sweden. Our daughter lives in Sweden, so we were helping her with a move to her new shop and an apartment, and saw our mother-in-law, and got to catch up with some great Swedish friends of mine, musicians out there, and saw a great concert, and then rushed back in the midst of all of the snow, and got back in time to do New Year's out here. So I had a great time, and now we're off.
Now we're off, yes. And I wonder how many people are making trumpet playing resolutions or, goals for 2022. I know for me, I always used to do it the wrong way. Every year I decide I got to get better at multiple tonguing. And so I go in the practice room and I'd spend an hour double and triple tonguing. And I come out of there and my tongue was just so swollen. I could hardly talk anymore. And after about a week, I go, well, that's not working. It's affecting adversely affecting the rest of my playing. So I'd give it up, and then another year would go by, and I go, I should really work on this multiple tonguing again. And same process, and it just never seemed to work.
Well, I thought it would be interesting to share some ideas here on some of our resolutions. I mean, I think one of the big things that happens to us as musicians is we just don't really focus on things oftentimes. And I'm the first guy. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm guilty of this. I sometimes go into the practice room and I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants. I got my warm up and I go into my routine, and it's sort of by rote. But really, when I have a great practice session and when I come out really having learned something or improved, it's when I go in to the practice session with a goal in mind that I've thought out, and I've thought it out prior. And I know what my outcome's going to be, or I know what I think, I hope what my outcome's going to be. And I think something else that happens, and I don't know about you, Paul, but people are trying to multitask. We use this word a lot, but the truth is that it's very difficult to truly multitask. I mean, your brain really works on one thing at a time. So when you think you're on the phone and then you're reading something and then you're practicing something, your brain is bouncing around to all these spots. It's not in all three of these spots at the same time. So I think by focusing on what you want to do, doing things like turning off all your devices, your television, your radio, whatever that might be, and just sitting down, focusing on an outcome, I think that can be really, really helpful. How about you?
Well, I totally agree. For years, I would turn on the TV and I'd watch old Perry Mason episodes or I Dream of Jeannie or something like that. And an hour later, my chops would feel terrible because I wasn't focusing on the right things or breathing correctly or even thinking about the music that I was trying to practice and get better at. So, one tip is start a stopwatch or a timer or something, or, just look at your watch. Pick a section of music that you want to work on, or one particular aspect of playing, whatever it may be, and allow yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes just to work on that. Nothing more than that. And at the end of 5 minutes or the 10 minutes, stop and don't keep on beating yourself against or your head against the wall. Let yourself just absorb everything that you've tried to accomplish in that time, and then move on to the next thing in a
Right.
5 or 10 minute increment.
I think that's a great idea. I think this really helps with rewiring, reprogramming yourself. But I think this resting thing, we often talk about rest for our chops, but really rest also helps our mind a lot. You notice like sometimes you can practice something, some kind of tricky fingering thing, we'll say, for instance, and maybe you do spend 10 minutes on it. And at the end of 10 minutes, maybe it's marginally better, but not totally great, right? But you move on to your next thing. But the following day, after your brain's had time to absorb this and connect, new neural pathways and stuff, the next day you come back to it and you go, oh, there it is. I got it now. And that's part of the reason why. And I think this is something that's often overlooked when we're doing that. So, for what it's worth, we hope that'll help you a little bit with your trumpet playing resolutions. We'd love to see your thoughts on it. Write them down, get on the thread here, and let us know what your resolutions are. And we got a lot of new things we're going to be bringing out to you here this year.
So we have some really cool interviews scheduled, some celebrity players coming in to get interviewed. So stop back and check that out as well.
Also, we really want to grow this group. We want to bump this group up to 5,000 or 6,000 people this year, maybe more with your help. So please invite your friends, anybody that plays trumpet and that are meet the qualifications here. All they got to do is answer the questions. So be sure they answer the questions in order to come into the group, and we would love to have them. And we're glad you're here with us. And we wish you a very happy new year. We'll see you real soon.
Happy 2022.